Welcome, one and all, to Byte BSU's Video Game Award betting extravaganza.
Yay.
I am your wonderful and oh-so-humble host, Elijah Wachs, senior reviews editor and resident video game snob, and I invite you to our 2023 celebration of video games. With E3 being ended seemingly forever, and Nintendo Direct happening whenever Miyamoto wants to announce another legacy title not being brought to the Switch, the Video Game Awards, for better or worse, is our one night as fans to be traditionally disappointed and elated all at the same time. And it appears this year is no different, with a host of fantastic titles being recognized and a slew of others being snubbed as usual. Even so, we at Byte are more than excited to watch Jeff Keighley bring his adorable level of awkward charm to the awards, which you can catch with us here as we live stream them on December 7th at 7:30 p.m. But I can't do it alone. That's why I've gathered the greatest video gaming minds this studio holds at least once a week. If my lovely co-hosts could introduce themselves, starting with our Byte Reviews veteran.
Is that me?
That's you, sir.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Hi, I'm Blake Chapman, former Byte Reviews editor, a longtime veteran Byte member, and now current Ball State grad student.
Woo, Poetry Snaps, grad school.
Grad school. I'm Aaron Picklesimer. I am currently Director of Recruitment for Byte and active reviews member. Big video game fan. Glad to be here.
And I'm Ian Case, current reviews member, and I'm stoked to award some video games, I think.
Oh, man, we couldn't be more than excited.
It's going to be great.
Now, the award ceremony and subsequent ads aren't for some time, but that doesn't mean we can't begin to celebrate now. In this video, we will be casting our own votes for what games will win in their respective categories. Call it a friendly wager. It will remain friendly up until the end of the ceremony, where the winner will not only earn the greatest prize, bragging rights, they will also get the honor of pieing the losers. So cast your votes well.
I did not agree to this.
Yeah, we did not agree to this.
And yet we're here. Crazy how that works. Before we begin, however, we at Byte are somewhat lacking in our esports knowledge. Not to fear, as I have consulted the most complex and knowledgeable mind in my possession for its deep insight, my Snapchat AI. And after hours of calculation and thinking, it returned with, I'm not sure. Well, neither are we, but we'll see when we get there. And so, I think it's our honor to begin at the greatest category that we'll have at our disposal.
This is the most fun category.
The most fun one, the best content creator of the year.
Scott the Waz has been snubbed for the 4th year in a row.
We're keeping it strong. We're starting off very strong. Video Game Awards doing their best. I can't say that my video game YouTuber watch starts and ends with Smitty and Cryos to my chagrin. But I know that People Make Games has been making a lot of waves. And while we were talking before the show that they're very good to the community and the YouTube online community, especially for their insight, that's a dark horse in the industry. Probably ain't gonna say that one.
People Make Games makes really great essays about basically how the video game industry is failing its own creators.
Yeah.
So it was shocking for me, being a fan of theirs, that they even got nominated at the show that hundreds of major industry directors and professionals and plants are going to be in the audience of. So
they deserve the nomination, but they ain't
They
gonna
definitely
win.
deserve to win. They deserve to win this award.
But they ain't gonna win.
No, I don't.
I personally think it's gonna be Quackity.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Because of the popularity of Iron Mouse and her TikToks and YouTube, I think that she's gonna take it simply because of the fan base.
Let's go. VTuber supremacy. VTuber supremacy.
I don't know who Iron Mouse is.
It's a VTuber.
He's a VTuber.
Okay.
You're about to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. You're about to not see the sun for about 47 hours.
All you're gonna see is PNGs all day.
I'm gonna say the wise version. I think Wacky's a pretty easy nom here. He has a very why fan, but it's Minecraft and like kids watch it. So I feel like
It's a safe bet.
It's a safe
It's a
bet.
safe bet. At least, next year, if Iron Mouse wins, next year we'll be seeing Hatsune Miku on the nomination screen. So I feel like those are good choices.
Now, see, I don't know if Hatsune Miku is going to be on the nomination. She's just going to walk up stage with Jeff Keighley.
She will.
If
She
she's
will.
not co-hosting with Jeff Keighley, I refuse to watch it.
She'll reveal that.
All right. Most anticipated game. I mean, a lot of games not here. Silk Song in our thoughts and prayers.
Because it's not a game.
It's not a game. While I'm sure Final Fantasy getting another title, getting its remake is very exciting.
Second remake.
Yeah, right.
Of 3.
Don't remind me.
2 discs. 2 discs.
And
170 gigabytes.
I'm sure the 8 people with
an
that storage
external
space.
SSD.
Yeah. I'm sure the 8 people who played Final Fantasy VII
Who can afford an SSD for their
I'm sure they're very excited, and I'm sure Star Wars Outlaws is a video game everybody remembers very well is coming out. I think it's a no-brainer to say that Hades 2 is the most anticipated of this entire group. Unless somebody's writing for Tekken 8.
No. I mean, I'm not riding for Tekken 8. I'm going to agree with you that I think Hades 2 is going to take it. But Like a Dragon and the Yakuza franchise is a really big franchise.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's right up there. And of course, knowing our luck, it actually will be Final Fantasy that may take it. But my hope is for Hades 2.
Yes. Hades 2 win followed by a new Hades 2 trailer.
That should be the pacing that they go with.
I'm gonna go with Hades 2 as well. I think because like Final Fantasy 7 is gonna have that like audience weight. I think you're gonna have the people who like they showed this off as like the last thing of that PlayStation live stream. Or was it PlayStation? Or was it Summer Game Fest?
No, it was Sony. It was Sony's latest one.
It was Sony's latest one, and it was like, oh my god, they're doing
I mean, everybody's dad was really excited.
Well, you have this like the hardcore like PS5, community or whatever. But then I think Hades 2 has this sort of more like industry hype.
Absolutely.
I mean,
who doesn't love your good roguelike dating sim? That's what everybody wants these days.
I think the other interesting thing about this category is, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hades 2 is the only one of those 5 that doesn't have at least a soft release.
No,
date.
that's definitely
because I know like
that definitely plays into it.
Rebirth has one.
Star Wars doesn't have one. I think they just said like
I forgot it was happening.
2024.
They give a year, but like Hades 2 doesn't even have a year on it.
I thought they said it was. I thought they gave a year.
I forgot Star Wars Outlaws was a thing.
I keep forgetting all the Star Wars games that are coming out.
I forgot that was a thing entirely.
I'm not going to play a Ubisoft Star Wars game.
Oh man, I'm sure they'll knock it out of the park.
You got Quantum Dreams coming out.
Yes.
Oh yeah, everyone's
David
so
Cage
excited.
game.
You excited for that second trailer that we're getting this year? Anyway.
Not that David Cage.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
God.
think that the allure of it being potentially further into the future
He's like
plays to
nice.
Hades. It plays to Hades 2 feature.
Yeah.
Plays to Hades 2's favors, and it means that I don't have to think about David Cage.
Yeah. The less we think about him,
Right,
the
I can
better.
wait for that.
Best adaptation. As much as I
these.
would love to talk about this in
Only
detail,
2 of these work.
Yeah, I feel like as much as I'd love to talk about these in detail, being a film guy myself, I don't think it's really worth the time. I think Mario Bros was fun. It's Last of Us.
It's Last of Us. It's clean sweep.
That's a clean sweep
'Cause,
right
I mean,
there.
like,
Congrats to
what was
Pedro
the-
Pascal.
what's because it's Castlevania, Gran Turismo. Oh yeah,
I didn't even know Twisted Metal was a thing.
Castlevania is the only other one on here that I would.
Super
want
Mario
to
Bros was fun.
Watch again.
We got to talk about the greatest snub on these nominations, though.
That?
That.
Oh my God! Final Fantasy? No.
Oh, no.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I don't know if it made the date, if it made the cutoff.
It should have.
Surely it did. If Alan
It's
Wake
a
could
real
get nominated
shame.
for Game of the Year,
That's
It
true.
comes out
Freddy.
2 weeks
That's
before.
true. That's
It is,
true.
that's a
That's a good point. That's a good point. We'll be seeing Final Fantasy and FNAF at the next Video Game Awards. Don't worry. We'll be getting that in. That adaptation will surely win.
Oh yeah, and
next
that
year's
live
Video Game
action
Awards.
Zelda adaptation.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Made
I'm
by
terrified
like
for
the
that.
Sony people who made Morbius.
Oh dude, I'm so excited. Oh man, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Anyway, best multiplayer. I forgot Diablo 4 was a thing. I feel like a lot of people
Good.
did, even the people who played it.
Even the people that spent $70.
All right, everyone say at the same time what is winning this.
I mean,
Now, see, I think I actually have a controversial opinion because I think it may go to Super Mario
I
Bros.
do have a controversial.
I have a controversial opinion. I think.
Right.
So
You want to say them all on 3?
Sure. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Street
Party
Fighter
Animals.
6.
We're all somewhere else.
Looks like we all got. Okay, so which one did we not get? Because we got Super Mario, we got.
Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6. Party Animals.
And I said Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Okay, so I think Baldur's Gate is actually gonna win just off like logic.
I haven't even
Yeah.
played Baldur's Gate because I have an Xbox.
Oh,
Dude.
Baldur's Gate's
Well, it's coming.
fantastic.
They said it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. The port is gonna be egregious at best, but it's coming. So while I'm not gonna say that it can't win, and I definitely think that it probably will. It's definitely the heavy hitter, but like
Is
I
multiplayer
think
the main focus of it? Is the question.
it's and and while I have plenty of people, my brother, it's his favorite game of like all time, and he's loved the online features. I just think I think Party Animals has been running at least the content creation side of things on all of these games. And I think for multiplayer functionality and the fact that it's indie game coming from the ground, I think it really has potential
Kinda like
to upset some of these
I could
big
play
titles.
this right now. I have Game Pass. I'm on Game Pass, but isn't it just like Gang Beasts but with animals?
Yeah, and yet nobody's talking about Gang Beasts anymore. I feel like it came in at a right time and kind of
It'll
took
be
it over.
like an Among Us.
I really do. I think it's kind of gonna sit in that niche. Again, I'm not gonna when Baldur's Gate 3 wins it, I'm not gonna say I'll be surprised or disappointed, but I'm not disappointed at all. I'm rooting for Baldur's Gate in almost every category.
see,
But like,
well,
I think Party Animals really can come up from behind.
I
here.
think it
Suppose if
can.
you want to look at the thing, it doesn't say best multiplayer game. It says best multiplayer, right? And this is like for outstanding like multiplayer design, right?
Look,
you're acting like they're taking that mission
I'm gonna
statement
tell you
apart.
straight up.
This is
as
the Video
being
Game
a veteran
Awards.
of doing this for like years, that description means jack squat.
That
It
means
does not
nothing.
mean anything.
That means nothing. They could go with whatever they're feeling that day. But okay, you said Super Mario.
Yeah, I think Super Mario, honestly. Because, I mean, when it came out, like, I heard so many people talking about it. And frankly, first off, I didn't even realize that it had multiplayer. So I think because it has that surprise multiplayer effect, can kind of bump it
Maybe
up a bit.
I couldn't.
I mean, it's
I don't
got,
see it.
from what I've seen, it's got the best Nintendo multiplayer online experience
Yeah.
of any Nintendo game that has an online capacity.
That's I don't see it as not happening. And Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Honestly, I think the snub is Mortal Kombat 1 isn't on here. I feel like, especially with the fact that, Mortal Kombat's, the historic thing of online play with people in Mortal Kombat is a thing. The fact that you can talk to each other, like you can have local, conversation, there's local
Right.
voice chat. And so,
Voice chat would go crazy for Street Fighter. 6.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that Mortal Kombat 1 not being on here is definitely a snub, and I think Street Fighter 6 had its moment, but I don't think it really stuck the landing as much.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that's also because Capcom, from what I know, Capcom has said, we are not doing a major update of this game and balancing it until the end of Capcom Cup, which is in March. So
we love
Ken
Capcom.
Ken
dude.
is
We
gonna
love
stay at the
Capcom.
top. Ken is gonna stay at the top of the tier list.
Oh.
Cammy is gonna
fantastic.
stay at the top of the tier list. Things not gonna get balanced.
Well-
until then. But I still think the multiplayer is fairly good. And it's
We've got a wide net here, and when Diablo 4 sneaks in and upsets all of us, then at least
and
we'll know who to blame.
Everyone paid in attendance of the actual show.
I heard
When
people
Blizzard
liked it.
pays off like a million
People liked it for the first month, and then they
they were like,
shredded their game.
Well, to continue to best sports and racing.
Yeah, the Forza The Forza Award!
Forza Award. As much as I would love to see Hot Wheels win out of nostalgia for my childhood, Forza
Award. You know what's shocking? That when I saw the nominations for, and we'll get to this later, but Forza is not nominated
For sound design.
and
It
it's
didn't
almost
get sound
it's
design.
almost
It's
about cars
always
with the
it's
big
almost,
sound.
it's
It's
almost
always-
always
it's
this.
It's always
and sound
nominated,
design.
and it's almost always the winner.
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
It got nominated for accessibility though, which is
I
like
think-
they always have like a gazillion accessibility options.
Yeah,
for
it's
games.
so anyway, congratulations Forza on the Forza
We're not
Award.
even going to consider the
Um,
other four.
I mean, I had a conversation with somebody who played The Crew, and they told me, like, yeah, they had to narrow the map down to what they promised, but it's still fun. It's going to Forza. And, congratulations then.
Wave at the people looking at us through the face.
Wave at the people.
Waiting for a Forza Horizon game in Japan.
That would.
Best sim and strategy. No Mario Rabbids this year, but we have a similar winner. I think that while there's plenty, I'm sure, City Skylines 2 is a great time, and Company of Heroes 3 is definitely that game. Pikmin 4, I feel like, is kind of the clear
Really?
winner coming in here.
I disagree.
Yes, I think Pikmin 4 is gonna take this in stride.
I think it may be Fire Emblem.
I am also thinking Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, really?
I'm going
It's-
Pikmin.
I mean, I could see Pikmin. I mean, it's a big one because people have been waiting for Pikmin 4 for so
I mean, that
unbelievably
hype
long.
was hard to really count down.
This Fire Emblem game also, I honestly think of like any previous nominee for the VGAs or the Game Awards. This is the one that released the earliest in the year that the
That's
games
fair.
happened.
That's definitely fair.
This was like first half of January that came
It was early. It was definitely early.
But I'm not the sim and strategy person,
I feel like-
so I personally don't.
I
I feel like
none
the Game
of it.
Awards, if your game releases really early in the year and doesn't keep the longevity of praise, I think a lot of people are going to forget about it.
I think that definitely can happen.
But I mean, Elden Ring won.
Well, yeah,
Elden
but that
Ring
kept
won.
the hype going.
It did.
That's
It
okay.
did
Because
though.
you can't beat Elden Ring. After Elden Ring comes out, it's like, well,
It's I wouldn't be surprised at Fire Emblem, I suppose, but I think that versus some other competition maybe. I just think when Pikmin was announced and when it came out, it was a dominating force, and I think that fan base is going to show up in numbers. I would not be
Their
surprised.
10% share of the fan
Yeah,
voting.
yeah.
Which is a good thing.
It's
which
a
is a
great
great thing.
We love
if
this.
Mr. Keeley is going to watch this, do not cave to those degenerates and give them more of a vote. 10% is all we need.
10% is all we need. All right.
Jump Force would have won Best Fighting Game if this would have been 100% fan voting. I want you to remember that.
That's a really strong point.
We avoided the worst timeline.
It's a strong point.
Are we on to the Nintendo
Best
Award?
Yeah, the Nintendo Award for Best Family. I think there's actually strong competition here. There's some strong games. I've heard great things
Yeah, it's
about
not-
Sonic Superstars.
It's not 4 Nintendo
Party Animals.
games.
Yeah,
One
Party
other
Animals
game.
and Pikmin 4. Oh, that's fantastic.
That
but
Illusion Island game I've also heard
is
is.
it I
Yeah, I
haven't
haven't
heard
heard
about
anything
it.
about it, which is why I think that it's gonna be the one that just gets booted off the island immediately.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like any of the other ones matter because
Right.
Super Mario Bros.
Mario.
Wonder.
I don't know.
Miyamoto on stage.
Yeah, given that this is being praised as one of the greatest Mario games
2D Mario games.
ever made,
Yeah.
yeah.
that was pretty easy.
I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty cut and
I
dry.
will say, if we're going off of the I don't know, making it more kind of family component, I think, of course, ironically to its name, it does have more like whimsical elements
Absolutely.
to it and brings in a lot more people, and the just the like, I don't know, kind of simplified accessibility that they have in like Nabbit and Yoshi's control scheme,
Yeah.
as well as the ability to like they have like traits or like a skill tree in this Super Mario.
Yeah,
game.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Like
you can like spec into
like,
stuff.
right?
Interesting.
Like different badges will give you different abilities or whatnot, just locked onto your character. And I think that's like a really interesting way to kind of advance the experience for a lot of different people.
And while this may be the Nintendo award out of spite for just them owning it every year with multiple titles, I think it's I have no shame in saying I think they really nailed it with this one, and I think they deserve it.
Yes.
Even if they just get it every year. But you know, it is what it is. Yay, Miyamoto. Best fighting.
Oh boy.
The fact that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 got put on here is great for them. Round of applause to them. Round of applause to them.
Hey, 3 of these games are lucky that Tekken 8 comes out next year. Is all I'm
That's
gonna
very
say.
true. They are very lucky. I think Street Fighter 6 puts up tough competition, but I really think Mortal Kombat 1 is going to take it. I think people, other than I think a very loud amount of naysayers for whatever reason, just wanted to be angry and upset that
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 1 looked good and was cool.
And had Omni Man. I mean, come on.
I feel like it was. I think like it's kind of. I think people have
it's a
been
clean
really happy with it, and I think that it's gonna take it.
Yeah.
Am I the
The final good release from Warner Brothers Games.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that thinks that Street Fighter's taking
You
it?
think Street Fighter's
I
gonna take
think
it?
they have an equal chance, really. I think it's really.
I think it's strong competition. I just think
it's
Mortal
I think it's a
Kombat 1
throw
is.
up.
This is the weird story part. I have a good friend that has regaled me with his tales of frustration with this Street Fighter game. The game is very accessible, very fast-paced, very fun. I think it's a great fighting game. I think it's going to win. I very much do not think that it deserves to win this award. I think Mortal Kombat deserves to win this award because in the month and a half that Mortal Kombat has come out, there have been multiple significant balances to that game.
Oh yeah.
And Capcom has done nothing with this title.
yeah.
Capcom also launched this title with half the roster that Mortal Kombat has and is expecting you to pay $10 for every single new character and is monetizing the game crazily.
Yeah, I think there's strong competition, but
Mortal Kombat has Omni-Man at home.
it's very true. And Peacemaker. Don't forget Peacemaker.
I forgot Peacemaker was in it.
Peacemaker's in it. He's coming in later.
Got a gun.
And I mean, Omni-Man just got released, and he looks fantastic. I really think Street Fighter 6. I think Street Fighter 6 probably would have won, given that it was pretty revolutionary with the way that they approached the fighting game. That
Classic
open world.
versus modern controls.
Yeah,
the open world
the
stuff.
open world stuff, but I think for the reasons, the fact that Capcom basically like abandoned it as a child.
Well, they're not.
and,
they're not.
and just went to buy milk.
They're not abandoning it. They're just saying, oh well.
Well, they're
for the
showing up on
sake-
its 18th birthday.
For the sake of competition,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep everything the same through Capcom Cup,
Right.
which is sick. This game's been out since June,
It's been out for a while.
and
Yeah.
the same characters are the best characters in the game.
I think it could win, but I think Mortal Kombat 1 has this one, and I think it deserves it. In truth, best RPG. This is a bigger one. There's some big
There's some
titles
really
on
good-
here.
There's one
there-
very large sneak on here.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I enjoyed playing this game, but it's a sneak.
Bethesda pooled a lot of money to get that on there.
That's an RPG?
Yeah, apparently it is. They may have map borders and empty planets full of nothing, but Starfield is an RPG according to you can design your own ships, guys. That's what it's all about.
Whoa,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
There may not be good gameplay or a good story or like quest lines that make any sense or the same exploits and bugs that Skyrim had for 13 years.
Look into a puddle and get infinite money.
Yeah, it's an RPG.
Same
guys.
engine as games that they released
Same
over
engine,
15 years ago.
same engine for 16 years. Yeah, it's an RPG. No, I think it would be a real win for smaller devs and for more heartfelt game design if Lives of P won.
Or Sea of Stars.
Or Sea of Stars,
I think
but
like on a personal level, Lies of P is like my game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And-
I just finished it yesterday.
and like
after a long
it's been
interlude.
nothing but beloved, and I think that while it's deserving of the nomination, I think it's kind of a shame that it has to compete with Baldur's Gate. I think
With arguably
the greatest
one of the best,
like one of the best
if
RPGs
not the greatest
ever
role-playing
made.
game that very may well be the best role-playing game of this generation.
Like
Yeah.
it really is kind of unfortunate for the other games in this category that Baldur's
You're
Gate
going-
happened to release this year.
You're boxing with someone 100 pounds heavier.
Yeah, while there are deserving titles on this category, it's clearly Baldur's Gate. I think this is
And it deserves it.
and it deserves it.
Yeah,
It clearly is Baldur's Gate and it deserves it. So yeah, we'll definitely be seeing that. Best action adventure.
This is a stacked
gonna be
category.
This is going to be an interesting one. This is a stacked category. We've been hearing fantastic things about Alan Wake 2.
Fantastic things about Spider-Man 2.
Fantastic
I've heard the
things
more
about
hardcore
Spider-Man.
2. I've heard the more like hardcore like Spider-Man fans aren't as happy with some of the elements of
It's. I heard it was just because of changes to like gadgets and playstyle from
Well,
the
I've
first
also
one.
heard
They want to
some
make it
people,
harder.
I've heard some people sort of nag on the pacing of the story as well, and how.
Sure, I think I've heard a few things here and there, but I mean, to say that it's been nothing like
Yeah.
to say it's been
It's
nothing
still good.
short
It's
of
still
like
like a-
universal praise.
Yeah.
And that Resident Evil 4 remake was
I love
was a
it.
great time for people. People
Have you
were
played it?
enjoying it. I didn't play it.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
just haven't been hearing fantastic things.
I haven't even played the DLC yet.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to, but I have just so much other stuff on my
People said the
backlog.
same thing about Jedi Survivor.
That was I
Now,
played that.
see,
too, it was so
my
good.
thing is, I think Jedi Survivor is the lowest candidate on this list.
I think so
And
too,
it's still
but
good.
and that's still good. Like
Yeah,
this
I
is
know.
a stacked category.
Star Wars.
Now is this
Sekiro?
Jedi Survivor on PC or is this Jedi Survivor on a platform that it was meant to be?
Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point.
I played it day one. I heard everyone like, oh, this game crashed like 50 times. I was like, uh-oh, am I gonna like not want to play this? And I had no issues.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk, but Star Wars.
And then to round it off is Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, this is a stacked category. I think it really could go to any of these. I think Spider-Man's gonna win. I really feel like it was Spider-Man's year.
Yep.
I think the hype for Spider-Man 2 all year was palpable, and when it came out, the excitement was ridiculous, and I think it remained ridiculous. Just the online discourse around it, I feel like was hard to avoid. It was everywhere, and I think it deserved to be. I think that's the one that's gonna take it. But I could see it going to any of these.
Oh yeah.
Truly.
I think Spider-Man 2 and Tears of the Kingdom are going to be
The top two.
the top two that it's going to be very close on with the numbers. But ultimately, I'm crossing my fingers and saying Spider-Man 2. But to be honest, I could see Alan Wake 2 just coming up and sweeping the
It
floor.
could. It really
could.
But I really think Spider-Man's just
Yeah.
gonna take it.
I don't know if I feel the action adventure of like it's more like
Alan Wake.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Zelda. I feel like
Okay.
I've even
I
played
could see it.
but
I
like
really
the
could see
buzz
it.
I heard when it came out,
People loved
of
it.
just the unending praise for it and how much like it iterated upon Breath of the Wild and just the amount of sort of hype. Like before Baldur's Gate came out,
Oh,
this
yeah.
was people's de facto game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it definitely would take it. I think it deserves it.
Tears of the Kingdom is mine as well. I think
Fair,
like,
yeah.
Breath of the Wild was one of my favorite games, and it is nigh impossible, especially in an art form that is so iterative like games, to follow up. Like, how can we build upon the best game
That
ever
we've made in our franchise. Yeah,
And I think that they somehow
like did it. They somehow did it.
Franchise synergy. Who's getting casted as Link in the live action Zelda?
It's Chris Pratt. What are you talking about?
Tom Holland as Link.
Yeah.
Austin Butler.
Is he still stuck with the Elvis?
Yeah,
voice?
he's still
Oh,
in
dude,
this.
I would love that so much.
We gotta save Hyrule.
Oh, man.
I wonder what's winning Best Action Game.
Yeah.
Best action game, man.
Armored Core Award?
It's the Armored Core War this year.
Are you
It's-
sure? I mean, Dead Island too. I mean, come on.
Oh
man.
yeah, Dead Island 2, man. Everybody loved that.
for a week.
Hi-Fi Rush is.
Hi-Fi
did
Rush
so,
is the
man.
underdog.
I
Yes.
did hear Hi-Fi Rush was good.
That will win an
Definitely
award
two
later.
was
That will
good.
win an
That
award
will-
later.
It's definitely the underdog, but
I heard.
Armored Core, man. Armored Core, I think they dropped that trailer on like Monday, released it Friday, and everyone freaked out. Like that, I think it's Armored Core.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it's Armored Core, not because it's just good, because it is,
Because it's-
but also because it's FromSoft. Anytime FromSoft dips their toes into an award, they immediately get it. You just never go wrong with
I
it.
mean, their fan base loves to ride that train to
Yeah.
its inevitable
To an
end. They really like to run it out off the tracks.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to play Remnant 2, but I haven't gotten.
I mean, I've
It's
heard
like-
some good
I
things
heard
about
good
I
things.
Remnant.
played the
just
first
don't
one,
think
and it's like Dark Souls with guns. So
I mean, yeah, but I think Armored Core kind of has that. in the
Armored
bag,
Core
honestly.
win, followed by Elden Ring DLC trailer.
Yeah, maybe FromSoft. I'm sure FromSoft's planning that. That's for sure. Best
Followed by
VR
Intruder on
or AR.
Stage?
Yeah, we
nothing
need the
about
kid
VR.
back.
Now,
Bill
see,
Clinton kid.
What I'm seeing here is I don't see the true game that should be on this list, and that is Among Us VR.
Among Us VR really
come
should
out
be.
this year?
Yeah.
I thought that was nominated last year.
It actually might have been. I think it might have been.
What is it?
I don't remember. But I mean, I think VR AR is
It did
always
get
kind of
nominated last year.
okay. Yeah. Well, at least it got recognized. Good,
Right.
good for them. But I think
Us
I think VR AR either like I feel like it really has some heavy hitters, or sometimes it's just really kind of a loose year.
They're looking for things to put in there.
Yeah,
I think-
I think they're just lacking titles, and I think this year's nominations. I hear things here and there, but I actually and I mean I love Horizon, but I didn't even hear much about their VR stuff. I don't even know how
That's
that
a launch.
would work.
That was a launch title for PSVR 2.
I don't even know how that would work, given that it's.
It's a climbing game.
Oh well, all right. I guess go off.
I think the biggest issue with VR is how like awful the sort of like oligopoly on the VR like
Yeah,
market.
I mean,
Facebook
yeah.
owns like a solid third of the VR market, and all they do is metaverse gimmick stuff.
Well, yeah, for sure, and I'm sure we'll break out of it soon. But as far as the winner goes, I think it's gonna go to some like recognizable title. I think I could see Resident Evil is gonna take this simply for the fact that there just isn't enough being put into it yet.
No.
Which I'm excited to see that happen, but I
mean,
just don't think it's happening yet.
I know. I think next year we're coming out with Assassin's Creed Nexus. I mean, and
Oh, man,
people
that's
are
gonna be
so excited for that. Although I'm
That's
not.
gonna be motion
I-
sickness simulator.
Dude, I want to know who Ubisoft has running to everybody's house to Men in Black flash them to forget how awful Assassin's Creed games are, so that every time there's a new one,
Yeah.
people freak out. I don't understand why there's this excitement.
I will.
It's truly like people just
They turned
just
them
have
into bad
amnesia.
Witcher clones, and now they're like.
I will say, one last note on VR AR stuff. I think that there is potential for that area of game development
Absolutely.
and making experiences that take advantage of that portion of the art form. I think that it really is either we're just going to take this thing that's already been done and immediately put it into VR, and it works, but I don't
Yeah.
feel like paying another $40 for it to play it in
Yeah.
VR. Or it's something that's that doesn't catch on to a wide audience of people. And a lot of developers don't have the advantage of your typical console dev of saying oh, here's this new console, you develop something for this, and it's gonna be out for at least the next 7 years. This is your set bar expectation. With VR, the technology just feels like it is pushing further and further a lot faster than the typical console market, that a game that takes 4 to 5 years, an original game for VR that takes 4 to 5 years to develop, there's 3 generations of VR that come out within that time frame.
Yeah.
And then we have that stupid freaking $3,000
Yeah,
Apple
it's-
headset that's
yeah,
coming out, and Apple ski goggles that are
Yeah,
coming
I
out
don't-
next year.
None of it. I think that there's there's a horizon. I feel like it's finally in sight. I feel like people were claiming that VR's moment was coming for like every year, but I actually think that we're gonna finally hit like a point, and that we're gonna really get some good stuff. But I mean, until then, Resident Evil is gonna take its
Valley
win.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
that because like Half-Life Alyx came out in 2020 and it was
It just wasn't. I just don't think people were
and
like.
then,
I
like
just-
it never like they
industry's just not ready
the
for
industry
it.
wasn't because like they solved so many of the issues like the fact that you have the glove to like pull stuff to you fixes the issue of having to like bend down for stuff that they fixed and then nothing caught on from it.
I just think the industry's just not ready for it. I think it will be soon, but I think
we
it's
gotta put Zuckerberg in the contraption.
yeah.
And it might be the thing where, hey, the thing that was popular, or the thing that popped off 4 years ago, like, oh, everyone saw and started developing stuff that had to do with that
The
4
trend,
years ago.
like we have to see the realization of
Yeah,
those.
well,
Right.
and
because
we'll-
I mean,
yeah.
you think about like live service games, like the first Destiny came out
2014.
2014. That was, by the time live services started really popping off, that was 5 years after Destiny came out.
Yeah.
So everyone started
It's-
developing live service games, and then you see
Well,
the end of the line.
Yeah, we'll be getting there. I definitely think it's on the horizon. But like I said, until then, Resident Evil coming out with a new VR version of their game every year, and people are gonna play it. So I guess we'll give them that one. If they're upset, I guess we'll find out. But I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, now the gotcha category.
I think the Chinese government is going to come and clutch with the look for this.
I definitely, there's at least 3
Is
gotcha games on this.
Is Terra Nil the only real video game?
It might be. It might be.
The not gotcha
Mobile game.
And while Terra Nil, I think, while being the actual real game here,
Solar Punk game.
yeah, the actual real game, I just for the sake of Hello Kitty and how funny that is to me, I'm rolling for Hello Kitty. I think
All
Hello
right.
Kitty's gonna swing in on the bottom.
You can enjoy losing this category. We all have Honkai Star Rail,
Yes.
right? Okay. Awesome.
I'm never going to play it. I don't want to play it, but like it's going to win.
Yes.
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'll take that loss if I want to.
You'll take that pie in the
I'm
face.
sticking to the
You'll take
bit.
that pie
I'm
in the
sticking to the bit, and I don't care. Oh.
Not the only award that Honkai Star Rail is going to win. At this award show.
Yeah.
Best
Debut indie.
If it doesn't go to
They
Pizza Tower,
I know
nominated
I know what would be the funniest on
They
here to win.
nominated the meme game. I can't
Pizza
believe it.
Tower.
Pizza Tower.
What's the
That's the only one I've heard of on
yeah.
Okay, now to be honest, I actually think that Viewfinder may have it because Viewfinder has such an interesting concept to it.
You would think that's a great way of.
Is this did they show this off at the Summer Game Fest and it was like
I think
the
so.
perspective
Yeah.
based?
Yes, it's
Yep.
the Portal
No.
game, but with
Cameras.
Polaroids.
Yeah.
That might actually. I thought that.
I
Looked
mean,
so cool.
I would swing that for a win. I wouldn't mind swinging that for a
Yeah.
win at all. But like, and you would
It's-
think that having a really unique gameplay and a unique concept is what would qualify for like a best indie debut.
This is
Right.
the Game Awards, though.
But it's
this
the
is a
Game
popularity
Awards, so
Awards. It's
it
gonna
really
be
could
Pizza
go
Tower.
for anything. And
I mean, well,
anything.
this is the
might be Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower is definitely the popularity contest pick.
I don't even.
If
wait,
this was-
I've only heard about Pizza Tower. I have no clue what Pizza Tower like actually is. I
It
just know it's
doesn't
Nobody
matter.
does. We
I-
see the memes.
I'll swing Viewfinder for an actual pick.
Right.
But I
I'm
mean,
going
hey
with-
man,
I'm going with Cocoon.
you think Cocoon's gonna take it? I haven't heard too much about it.
It's an Annapurna published game. I know that a decent amount, or not a decent amount, but a couple of the people that were on the Limbo and Inside teams at, is that Playdead, I think?
I don't remember.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
entirely
so,
sure.
though.
But they also were the head of that title.
I
so
mean, it's
I think Pizza Tower deserves the award
I
because
think,
it would
yeah.
be funny.
It's gonna be
because
funny.
It'd be funny.
it's gonna be funny.
But these are also all like excellent.
yeah,
Yes.
indie games have really been popping off in
Yes.
the past couple of years.
The,
So,
the indie, the weird thing about the Game Awards is I know a lot of people really don't like how they define indie a lot of the time.
That comes up on the next category.
Yeah, it really does.
And you know, they tend to like serve those teams the short stick almost every single year. But I will say, the indie categories every single year are the ones that feel like all 5 of these or all 6 of these could win this.
Yeah, they are usually the most like
Stacked
evenly
categories,
stacked, evenly
stacked
competitive.
categories.
And I mean the same thing said for best independent game.
Except for one of these, because apparently it wasn't actually independent.
Which one?
Dave the Diver is apparently funded by this huge, like, South Korean company.
Well, you know, shout out to Game Awards.
Even though that's the case with Dave the Diver, I feel like it's kind of easy to see that Sea of Stars.
Yeah, it's Sea of Stars.
I think it's gonna be Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're with getting nominations in like best RPG and stuff, I feel like that's a solid.
If an
pick.
indie game can break out into the other categories, I think it's pretty safe to say it's gonna win.
It's similar. Obviously, a more intense version was when It Takes Two was nominated, but It Takes Two took Game of the Year. So I think Sea of Stars being nominated in multiple categories, I think is pretty telling.
I'm also going with Cocoon for this one.
I mean, we'll see. You know, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all
about making silly guesses.
Yeah.
And really not giving.
Best community support with the one
and
massive
being heartbroken
sneak.
every time. Best community support. Oh man,
I love nominating the game and the company that fired the
their
majority of their community.
Oh
team.
man, Destiny 2. If nothing screams
And
community
came out
support,
with
As the Destiny
2.
Authority, get this out of here. Awful, no.
And
He's got like
came
a
out
badge
with
and everything.
Mid expansion
Yeah.
this year that
Yeah.
they were teasing that this is gonna be like
The
final
Infinity
show.
War.
Yeah, the Infinity War. No.
I finished the campaign like when it came out. I was like, that's it. I was like, what?
But it's teasing to the next
Oh,
DLC
man.
that won't just be
I love
Destiny
dungeons.
3,
I love
which
nothing
is what
but
we should be
dungeons
getting.
and just just actual slop.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, I shout out Hello Games for getting this nomination
Every
year. It's,
And never winning it.
and
They
they
won it in
deserve
2020.
It.
They
They
won it in
deserve it.
2020.
I think they deserve the nomination. I think they
And
deserve it every
Sean
year.
Murray was
Every,
visibly
like, two-
shocked. that
Sean
they
Murray,
won that
yeah,
one.
because everybody was.
Every 2 months, they release an update with the most stacked patch notes I've ever
They
seen.
patch everything every time. It is a full patch.
They really-
They put their work in as a community support.
They
so
really
they,
feel guilty. They have been doing their
They've
best.
been doing a great
for
job
free,
for free.
since launch to really build this healing journey
And,
amongst their
and I think they
fans.
deserve the nomination. If they win this year, that I wouldn't be surprised. But I think that while Baldur's Gate is Baldur's Gate, and that's the heaviest hitter to hit heavy this year, I mean, everybody was foaming at the mouth when Cyberpunk came out, and I think
2.0.
No, 2.0.
The game is out.
Let's go.
The-
Fix
the-
the
the
game. They
game-
made it good.
the game
It's so good
Instead
now.
of it being terrible, it's
I
now
enjoyed
good.
the game before. I
3
enjoy
years
the
later.
game now.
I
3
enjoyed the
years.
game
3 years
when
later.
1.5 came out. and
It was in
it's-
development for 8 years now. 9 years now? Anyway.
Not yet.
Cyberpunk, I think Cyberpunk's gonna take it. I think this is gonna be a clear.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
I
a
would
clear
love
Cyberpunk
for it
moment.
to take it. I feel like Final Fantasy 14 also has a good chance because
They-
it's like everyone's
Doesn't it- is it
favorite
every
like
every
MMO.
year they get nominated.
Every year they get
This is
nominated.
But-
I go with Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm gonna go with Cyberpunk.
That's a safe bet. That's a safe bet. Like Baldur's Gate is just safe in like every category. Baldur's Gate is safe. I wouldn't be surprised, disappointed, or upset if Baldur's Gate got the win.
'Cause
But I just think
the other-
Cyberpunk's gonna pull it off.
I think the
of
other
just
interesting
being
thing,
so-
the interesting thing about Baldur's Gate in this category is that they had such a really informative, like, open period, like not necessarily green light, but like I don't know if you want to call it an open beta period, early access period.
Oh yeah,
for those like
that's
it's a
strong point. It was a while.
and a lot of the stuff that they took from there, they made sure to implement into the full release.
And I think that's strong reasoning for it.
Yeah.
I think it's really kind of 50-50 for me.
I mean-
but I just think Cyberpunk
I think
off of
anything
Well,
other
of
than
just,
Destiny
like-
can
other
win
than
here.
Destiny 2
other
can
than
win.
yeah,
So-
literally.
I do think that Cyberpunk has a true chance here, and I really want to vote for it because I love Cyberpunk, but I love Baldur's Gate 3 as well, and I think Baldur's Gate 3 has had far more community, like in the small amount of time that this game has been out. They've done so much more and listened to their fans. Like, they listened to how people were upset with Karlach's endings, and they were just like, yeah, you know what, you're right, we're gonna give her a better ending. They did. They realized...
Even narrative updates.
Yeah, they gave narrative updates. They had patched it to where a cat that was hairless through a glitch, they made it re-haired, and then they listened to the fans. They were just like, de-hair the cat. They de-haired the cat. Like,
I think you've sold me. I think I'm changing my
yeah, the de-hairing of the cat is really what really does it.
It's such a small thing, but it did so much. It was
like,
them listening to fans.
I think Baldur's Gate's a win for everybody in general.
Yeah.
I feel like that just winning is a win for video games as well as video game community.
Right.
And so I'm definitely not upset, but I don't know. I feel it. I feel it like the Cyberpunk. It's too like. It's like the wild card character. It's like they're gonna cut the brakes and like jump out the back of the van or something. Like there's too much boiled energy around the fact that community's been waiting to claim that the game that is not good
tirelessly for it to be good.
Yeah, they've wanted it to be good so bad for so long.
Right.
I mean, I'd argue
And it is.
that ever
And I
since
think,
they
yeah.
patched it for next gen, I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Well,
Should have
been released on next gen.
Should've been released
Should have
anyway.
only been on PS4 in the series to begin with.
Speaking of Cyberpunk, best ongoing.
This is a single-player game.
This is a single-player game.
That's been nominated for best ongoing game.
and they said this was going to be the only DLC.
Yeah. How is this ongoing, people?
Well, no, this is just.
It has on-gone.
It is ongoing.
Yeah.
This just as a weird. This represents where we're at in the games industry now.
Yeah.
It's a weird microcosm
It's a
right here.
weird
that
microcosm.
tells you so much.
The fact that a single player non-online game
That came out 3 years
that came
ago.
out 3 years ago is ongoing
That's nominated for best ongoing game this year.
this year. Yeah. Amazing.
Final Fantasy.
Gonna give it to Fortnite. I'm sorry.
You would
It's gonna
think-
go to Fortnite.
You would think.
Did you see what they just did to Fortnite though?
Yeah, they brought the whole map back.
Yeah, they
No,
brought
no,
the old
no, no,
map
no, no,
back.
no, like yesterday.
Oh no.
The age
no.
restriction thing.
What?
Okay, so because creative is like a huge thing now, and they have like the Unreal editor for like people to make their own experiences, they're basically trying to turn it into like Roblox.
I'm
And
not.
so now, different creative levels now have age ratings, and you now get your cosmetics blocked if your character has like a gun holster. If you go into a map rated like E10 or lower. And so it's
This
the
sounds
whole,
like a great way to exploit children.
For-
Somehow this is going to be turned into exploiting
Somehow
children.
this is going to turn out great, and we're going to love it, and this is nothing bad could ever
See,
come from this.
What I'm hearing is still best ongoing.
I'm also there with
I mean-
this is the safe bet for me.
It's safe. It was either that or Genshin Impact.
Yeah,
And I
truly.
feel like with the current hype around Fortnite bringing the old map back, and the fact that they somehow resurrect themselves from in obscurity every 9 months and become relevant again.
And everyone is
I think it's gonna
everyone
be
is
Fortnite.
magically forgiven Epic and Unreal for the stuff that they tried to pull earlier in the fall.
Yeah, well, I mean, forgiven is strong. Everybody's been saying pretty open about the fact that once the season's over and the new map comes back, like once the old map's gone again, they're just not going to play anymore. So
Some developers aren't playing with Unreal Engine.
yeah, that too. And so yeah, I think Fortnite's the safe pick, like you said. It was either that or Genshin Impact, because
Right.
we know it's not going to be Final Fantasy. And
it
the
won
fact
last
that
year.
Apex, yeah, the fact that Apex is even on here is alarming.
I cannot
at
play
best.
Apex.
It's because it's bad.
It's the most sweaty game I've ever
It's
played.
because it's bad. Games for
right,
Impact.
Games for Impact.
We got a lot here. You know,
Lots you don't recognize.
a lot
only
that
one of these
unfortunately you don't recognize. The games for Impact is unfortunately the ones that just don't get enough.
They deserve more.
They deserve more.
Every year they deserve.
They deserve
more
more like
release.
influence and more attention.
More marketing.
There's
And they're
only
just
one of
not. They just don't
these
get it.
I recognize because of people made jokes about it. It's the dinosaur game.
Oh, the
Goodbye Volcano High. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think the fact that I think it's indicative with best indie game with Sea of Stars. I think Terra Nil can take this one just because it got nominated in other categories, and the fact that it's recognizable, I feel like puts it above. But it's just the lack of marketing, like we said, that I feel like it's just not a lot of attention given, at least to these titles.
Vengo, maybe. That got nominated for best indie, right?
Yeah, it got nominated for a couple. Yeah.
I mean, I'm also going to go with Venba. I mean, just from the looks of it, I think it would be very good for giving,
Game with a message.
Yeah, like a good message, and especially in the times that we're in and all that sort of stuff. It seems like one of those games where it shows cultures that aren't often represented in games, and it also seems quite family friendly too.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be the great choice.
I would
to
say
pick for this.
I second that thought. My pick is Chia for
Okay.
more or less the same reasons. The background of Chia is it's kind of like an adventure exploration game with elements of Mario Odyssey, where you're exploring this island chain or this island community, and you get to transform into different aspects of nature. So maybe different bugs or different animals, trees, just living things. And the interesting part about the development of the game is that the studio behind it is based in New Caledonia, which is one of, I think, a major island chain in the South Pacific. And the whole team that developed it, they're all from there, and the team is the studio is based there, and a lot of the kind of experiences and background that they had in their own childhood growing up and living there, they kind of put into the game and used it as almost a kind of a cultural education piece for a corner of the world that not a lot of people see.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, they're in the category.
I tend to be the weird indie game person, so I know the majority of these games and what's about them. I really think Chants of Sonar should win. It's basically a deductive game, kind of in the same line of I think it's Curse of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah.
That deals with not necessarily logic puzzles, but deals with word puzzles and communication and language, because it's kind of a play off the Tower of Babel story.
Fair.
But I've also heard great things about that game as well. But
and we'll at least see what happens. It's one of the interesting categories as it kind of comes down really to the games.
Right.
It's hard for a popularity contest to come out. But the
Innovation
innovation
and
and accessibility. I mean, these are a lot of big titles. Usually, it's a lot of smaller ones. A lot more indie games get put into this category.
There's a couple.
Well, it's a lot of AAA because they have the resources to
They've
put all
been-
these different
yeah.
settings in.
But I also think there's just, I think it's indicative of the fact that they're putting more effort into making it more accessible. No FromSoft in this one though, that's for sure. No FromSoft here.
Why am I not surprised?
Why? It's shocking. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna go Forza. I think Forza.
I feel like Forza with I know that every year whenever they release, they have a slew of options that you can go through for stuff. And so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Individually tweak how assisted every single aspect of driving the car was.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think Forza could take that.
No, I definitely agree. I'm looking forward on this one.
Overall, I feel like this category is a bit of a toss-up unless you are someone that has gone very in-depth into each of the nominees in this category.
Right.
I appreciate that that they've made this a permanent award in the show and make it representative of the wide berth of people that play games and want to enjoy the art form.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Spider-Man.
Fair. No, that's
Okay.
yeah. That's a fair pick, without question.
All right, I know who I want to win.
Here we go.
These are the big ones.
Big ones.
These are the big ones. Best performance. We have. I mean, it's stacked as usual.
I know who I want to win, and I know who is going to win.
Yeah, I would love to see. I would love to see a small sliver, a minute fraction of the voice acting work that went into Baldur's Gate get recognized. Well, it was like
Through
70
Asterion?
hours. What was it? 70 hours of voice
Yeah.
For each
just
character.
voice acting, like
For each character.
insane amount of work given. I would love to see that recognized. I would love to see Cameron Monaghan putting in all the work he did for Jedi.
And he's
But-
so into it.
Is into it. He really is into
Embodies
it.
the character.
And
He's like the person they
I give
send
him
for
all
press.
yeah, really. And I give him all the credit for that. I'd love to see that recognized. I heard great things about Idris Elba's part in Cyberpunk. But I mean, I think it's gonna be
Yuri
Yuri. I think
Lowenthal.
it's Spider-Man. I think Peter.
Spider-Man.
The amount of people that were viscerally angry watching his scenes with the symbiote were like, it was like
I love that
crazy hearing
scene where
about
he
it.
sits the hairy eyes and like, why don't you go pop some more pills?
Yeah, insane. I think it's gonna be Yuri. I think it's gonna be Spider-Man.
You know what? I'm gonna be the one who's probably gonna inevitably take the loss here.
Yeah.
I am going Neil Newbern.
Hey, Shadow Baldur's Gate again.
Yeah,
Shadow
I
Baldur's
mean,
Gate.
His work as Asterion, everyone loves Asterion. Granted, I despise the character, but I think it's because of how well he plays his character.
And that is nothing short of how good the voice acting
yeah.
and character work that they put into that game is. It's indicative of that game's
I
effort.
feel like
I
part of like why Baldur's Gate is such a is like there's so many different good voices in the game.
It is.
That
There's
how could
so
you
many.
possibly
It's
award it to
stacked.
one person?
Yeah.
The fact that there was only one nomination felt kind of like a. I feel like the video
Like, it
game awards
feels-
were like, yeah,
like if
we're
one
nominating them,
person-
but
Like if-
all six of those could be
could
nominations.
could all
yeah.
be Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate
Gate.
nominations. But I think Yuri's got it.
Yeah.
It's very close for me. I'm also gonna go with Neil.
Wow.
Let's go.
I feel like I want Yuri to win.
I think Yuri's gonna take it.
because much like Cameron that plays
Cameron Monaghan.
yeah, much like him for Survivor and Jedi, I think Yuri really embodies his portrayal
Yeah.
of Peter Parker
I do
and
too.
Spider-Man very much so. And like I think as a voice actor that's been in the industry for a long time, has had a lot of impact across different programs. I think dude deserves
That's
the
no.
recognition on a
I
wider
think
scale.
that's strong. Yeah, strong point. Best audio design. No racing game.
Right.
No racing
I'm
game.
shocked.
No Forza.
I think interestingly, you have 3 survival horror games because audio was such a huge part of.
I think it's gonna be the Dead Space remake.
I
I think it's gonna be the Dead Space remake.
want to give it to Hi-Fi Rush because it's a music game, but I think yeah, Dead Space remake is going to.
I think it's gonna be Dead Space remake. I could see Hi-Fi Rush winning.
I would
for
love
sure.
to see it win. It's such an underdog stealth launch.
It is an underdog, absolutely.
And it's a quality game.
And it's definitely deserving. I think with how the fact that it was a Dead Space remake and everybody who played Dead Space was like, not only is this just a good remake, like they were
better.
They were veteran games. There were veteran Dead Space fans being scared by new things in the game that they like. I don't know. I think Dead Space got this one.
I want to give it to Dead Space because I'm my friend he loves Dead Space and he's been getting me into Dead Space, but I think it's gonna go to Alan Wake 2. Truly.
I mean,
'Cause,
this might be the first of Alan
might-
Wake's sweep.
yeah,
So
because I mean,
Alan Wake's.
yeah.
because I mean, I saw an article that was literally saying that Alan Wake 2 is the best Silent Hill game that's not Silent Hill, and I mean, Silent Hill games are
the status on that
solely
Silent Hill
based. The Silent Hill 2
no one
remake,
knows.
we're not going to talk about it. I've been waiting on that for so long.
Nobody knows.
Ascension sucks, but that's neither here nor there. I'm coming after you, J.J. Abrams. But No, I think Alan Wake 2's got this in the bag.
I mean, it could be. This could be the start of the Alan Wake 2 sweep.
Alan sweep.
Right.
The Alan sweep. So it could be. It could be.
I'm also going with Dead Space.
I think Dead Space got it in the bag.
I think it's. I think
It's the
it's
idea of
close.
being on the derelict spaceship with all the rusty, creaky metal and whatnot.
It looked just so good. I think I don't know. I think they got this one. I think they pulled it. I think they really
All right.
really gathered it together and put it in.
Best score. And
Best
music.
score and music. I mean,
One of my favorite categories every single year.
it could. There's a lot. There's a
I
lot
thought there
here.
were more that could go in here.
There could be. There could be.
One of my favorite categories every year that that almost never gets a speech on stage. It's one of the ones that's like announced in the balcony with
Yeah.
like
Oh, during the pre-show?
Right, like 4 other awards are announced.
Which I
along
don't know
with
why.
it.
The music in video games is so
Right,
good.
like all of like most of the orchestra plays at the end of the show. Why not? I don't know. Have them do a little bit in the middle, and then I don't know.
I don't know.
The way they line up the show is always.
This could go a lot of ways.
I think
This could go a lot of ways.
I've heard the story behind Final Fantasy 16's soundtrack that the composer like made the soundtrack while he was undergoing like cancer treatment.
Wow.
And so I think that's like a huge.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And the Final Fantasy fan base loves to rally.
Right.
I don't know.
Hi-Fi
I don't
Rush
know.
is
I
also
mean, when I think of like the great soundtracks, I always go to like RPGs, big games. So like I think it's coming down for me. It's coming down between either Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate. I think Hi-Fi Rush could be an underdog, but I think it's gonna be something like Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate could definitely take place.
I'm gonna go Final Fantasy.
Okay.
So my thing is, my choice. I mean, the one that I wish is on here because there's a game that I played this year that I think has fantastic score, and I've been waiting to get like a soundtrack release, and they're coming out with it.
Is it-
Lies of P.
Yes.
Lies of P has a fantastic score. I mean, having the records that you can just sit there and play in the hub, and they're legitimately just soothing and like really good songs.
And that's not even counting the actual like score of the game.
Like, I mean, it's fantastic. However, because it's not on here, I gotta give it to Baldur's Gate. You know, because I mean, you can never go wrong with some nice high fantasy.
I think it's their category. It's the fantasy RPG category in anything like traditionally at least.
Oh yeah.
Music game.
You think it's gonna be Hi-Fi
Hi-Fi
Rush?
I think Hi-Fi
I'd
Rush.
be really happy.
And I'd be happy. I would be happy to see that.
Ecstatic if that.
I know what I'm gunning for next year for this, because I recently got into the Persona series this year, and the Persona soundtracks are crazy good, and 3 Reload is coming out.
Oh yeah, I
next year.
forgot they're remaking another one.
And so
It's
this was
possible.
actually like a top to bottom remake versus just like the updated re-release.
Right. It's yeah. I guess we'll have to see. But I,
think-
mean, Hi-Fi Rush. I wouldn't be upset.
And I feel
Oh,
like
speaking of Hi-Fi,
I feel like
You would
for
think.
for score and music, Hi-Fi Rush also it's just
and it's reactive too.
Right, it is react, and that component of it weaves it in, like that reactive and interactive component of it weaves just making an interactive narrative or an interactive experience go even further with interactive score and music. On top of it already being a rhythm / music kind of background game, I don't know. I think it's
No,
the
that's-
pieces
yeah.
are all
Yeah.
there.
That's a fair pick. I mean, and going into best art direction, Hi-Fi Rush, I feel like is a solid pick.
I think
but-
I'm gonna put down Hi-Fi Rush for this one. I think
Really?
I've seen the way they do it. One of the really interesting things is how seamlessly in like cutscenes and gameplay they transition from like 2D to 3D in a really like smooth way where sometimes you don't even realize like the animation is switching. So I think that's a really cool thing. And then just sort of like the cel-shaded
Right.
graphics.
I think, I mean, it could take it. It really could. or something like Lies of P for its art direction. But I mean, I think Nintendo got this one. I think Super
Really?
Mario Bros. Wonder is gonna be the one winning.
I thought you were gonna say Zelda.
No.
'Cause, I mean, Nintendo's got 2 horses in this race.
They do, which if anything is indicative of just Nintendo being Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
I guess this is.
But I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder has this written in.
They're nominating the 2 pieces of new art direction in Zelda, which is the art direction of the new sky area and then the art direction of the new depths area. Because we already understand the art direction of this all middle stuff.
Nah, listen, I'm biased. You all know. I've been saying it. Liza P. Because I mean, the fact that you take the like dark, gritty, setting and tone of like Bloodborne, you add 1800s France, and then you take like some steampunk and then a classic novel.
The most ridiculous source material.
The ridiculous source material, but
And
they
it
adapt
works.
it in such a way that it works. And then the cliffhanger ending. That ending is wild, and I can't wait to see.
Which ending did you? Are you talking
No,
about like
I'm talking about the clicking the heels.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, I'm talking about the fact that they legitimately set up a whole dark cinematic, like...
Dark novel cinematic
universe.
Yeah.
And because they like stated that they're...
MCU.
It's not
they
even
are-
Brothers Grimm.
No, they're doing Wizard of Oz next. I'm not even joking.
You even get a reference to it in the new update, the
Oh, yeah.
Emerald Glasses.
Oh yeah, and they said that that's the sequel, because I mean the cliffhanger ending was literally you had this character and he just goes, yeah, we're gonna get Dorothy, and it's just like ain't no way, and then you see her walk in front of the
We're
like
getting
on
the
a
pirate DLC or whatever.
right. I'm excited for the DLC, honestly. I think it's gonna be good,
And I mean, like I said, I think it's deserving.
Right.
Like, I don't think any of the games in this category are deserving of it. I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder. When I remember when that trailer was announced, that everyone was like shocked at the fact that they're changing their format and like doing something new.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the one that's gonna win.
I think art direction is a weird category every year because I think, honestly, it's really easy to like pick the most vibrant, like 2D cool animated thing. And that's what I'm doing this year. I'm picking Hi-Fi Rush. However, I think Alan Wake 2 makes a strong argument.
It could,
because of the way that the different artistic direction of the dual worlds that they have in that game, especially what I've seen of Alan Wake's reality and like his twisted version of New York and how they kind of just bake it in like harsh dark neon and rain. Yeah, like it I don't know, it just seems
I would not be surprised, that's for sure.
because I feel like of those, it's like, for me, like I know your pick's Wonder, but I feel of the ones that are not the like all like super vibrant, colorful one, that there is still the ability to go in the direction of dark stuff. And
absolutely.
I feel like
it's my pick for Wonder isn't necessarily just because of its like vibrancy and animation. I think it's the fact that Nintendo is breaking their mold and like reinvented a lot of like legacy traditional stuff that like is all completely recognizable, like iconic imagery, and they rewrote it out of just simply the desire to, and I think that the fact that it was so well received and everything, I just think they got that one. But like I said, any of those, it's a strong category.
we get into the real big.
We're getting into the weeds. That's for sure. Best narrative.
I think this one's an easy sweep here. It's Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's
I
Gate.
mean, it's Baldur's Gate.
I would love for Cyberpunk to take
I would
this.
also love for Phantom Liberty.
The new full game ending to Phantom, like the Phantom Liberty adds to like the main quest, is I was like speechless when I did that. I was like when I finished the game like that. But I think Baldur's Gate's got to win it with all the different branches. All
I
the
think
characters,
the
writing. It's just,
I think Spider-Man 2's story was, I heard nothing but fantastic things about it. I heard nothing but fantastic things about Phantom Liberty. Yeah.
Bully Lowenthal
Yeah.
wins this
And I mean,
But this is
we've
the
heard-
beginning
we've
of
been hearing-
Baldur's Gate
We've been
3.
hearing fantastic things about Alan Wake, which I still believe. I would not be surprised, but seeing it as the Dark Horse nomination, it's sweeping anyway. But that's
the start-
narrative.
it's the
We're
start-
talking narrative
With
with
start of Baldur's
it's Baldur's.
Sweep.
It's Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Sweep.
It's the Baldur's Sweep. It's gonna be Baldur's
We're getting
Gate
into
3.
the Baldur's Gate awards here.
Yeah, and best game direction. There's fantastic games here, but my pick's
Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate.
Gate. It's I think that it is the heaviest hitter that has come into this. The effort, the amount of work in it, like to game direct something for 3 years, almost 3 years in early access, comes out, and
being like early development a lot longer than that.
yeah, and just like. Yeah, it's. I think Baldur's Gate has pulled it together.
And then finally, Game of the Year.
I mean, Game of the Year.
Baldur's Gate.
I think it's gonna be Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it's Baldur's
Are you gonna hit us with a contrarian take?
No, I'm picking Baldur's Gate. However,
You think Tears of the Kingdom win?
I would like Tears of the Kingdom to win because it would be funny.
It would be funny. It would be funny.
It would
I
be
mean,
funny.
didn't Breath of the Gate win Game of the
It
Year?
did.
Yes,
and
it
that was
did.
like.
I mean, so I wouldn't.
But I don't
mind
remember its competition.
It's just this is just, and I think like getting to this point, I think it'd be interesting to like kind of go around and talk about the fact that I honestly don't think, based upon the scenarios that like development teams had been put under for the last 3 years or so, and like just the pipeline of games releasing, I don't think we are ever in our lifetimes going to get such a incredible year for games in terms of the sheer number of quality games coming out that is 2023.
Yeah.
This category could be 24 different games.
Yeah.
There's
And
a lot of games that could have been on
I would
here.
accept it.
There's a lot of games that could have been on this list, and I think the fact that they narrowed it down to these is
I'm
impressive.
surprised Resident Evil 4 got on here.
I'm a little surprised, but like
Well, like over
in
like
any other year, I wouldn't be surprised. The only reason I'm surprised is like there's so many other games that like
I would have thought
could
if-
have been on here.
I didn't even play the Dead Space remake, but like in terms of
Dead Space remake,
it
there's
was
another one.
Such
Like,
more of a sort of monumental leap of surprise for that, because like everyone knew after RE7 and 8 and then like the 2 and 3 remakes that like Capcom knows what they're doing
Oh, yeah.
with the new Resident Evil game.
and it's not for lack of quality. It really is. I think in any other year, Resident Evil 4 remake would have been an easy shoe in for Game of the Year. It's just that there's so many other games.
And
this
there's so
year
many
that could have
new
been.
like original games here. that-
It's just like it really is an impressive year, and it's even I think, and that's the thing. I think that's the most telling thing. It's such an impressive year, and I think it's even more impressive that there's a single game out of this that feels like the obvious choice.
Oh yeah.
It really is like like you said, there's like 24 games that you
could be nominated for this
could argue as Game of the Year, and yet Baldur's Gate 3 just feels like the no-brainer, which is crazy.
And I think
It's crazy
right.
that happened in such a stacked year, and we're still like, it's Baldur's Gate.
And I think like it's interesting because I know like the post-launch conversation around like how do like the kind of meta of how does the consumer expectations of games as a like not necessarily piece of art, but games as a
medium.
or a product. How do games as a product, how do those consumer expectations change with a game like Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah.
And how much work was put into that, and just how far
I mean,
I think
that
there's
direction
definitely a
goes.
discussion because like I feel like a lot of people see the quantity of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'd argue they're barking up the wrong tree because I think you've got to look at the quality.
Oh,
All this
yeah,
stuff is
it's-
so like obviously not every developer is going to be able to put that many like branching pathways and characters or whatever, but to see
Yeah.
how refined it is, how over years of early access they've garnered so much community feedback, and just how solid the game is, I think that's where I think is really the coolest thing.
It's.
I mean,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be looked back on like we do with Skyrim.
Oh,
I think it's going to
absolutely.
be like. I think it's going to be like a pivotal shift for gaming design.
the big thing about Baldur's Gate and like people's perception of games after this game had came out is the fact that they're looking at it as, oh, it just came out now, when you got to think about the fact that there was like 3 generations of consoles that occurred between Baldur's Gate 2 and this game. That's a lot of time to develop it, not even tell people about it, to be working on it and then go into access and then, beta, like
And
all
the
this sort of stuff.
And the fact that it's technically already building on a very, very well established brand
Oh
Exactly.
yeah,
of Dungeons and Dragons.
I think it really is like astounding. It is astounding.
And I think ultimately the thing that if like we see it as that bellwether for the future of like gaming expectation, I don't want every game that comes out in the future to try to be like everything. Like I would prefer
Be your best and not be the best.
And to cap it off, like I agree with that. I don't think it's gonna be taken like a let's copy it or like let's make all these just like let's just do this but like add in whatever X, Y, and Z.
like teams like game development teams should look when they think about Baldur's Gate as an example. I think you got to think about, there's this really interesting quote that I heard a while back right around the release of the game, that ultimately what we should want from the games industry is developers working, not having to work as much, making more for more satisfied audiences. And I think the integrity and honesty of the development of Baldur's Gate 3 and the direction of Baldur's Gate 3 is what I, as a fan of this art form, as a fan and as a consumer of this art form, as someone that spends money on this, that's what I want to see implemented into the future. Is that more games don't just take the, we gotta like, and it's still a big team that went into this, but take it from the integrity and the honesty perspective of, you don't have to do everything, but do what you can to the best degree that you can.
I fully agree, and I hope that like while we think just off like the game itself, it's deserving of the win. I think that if it does win, which I think it's got it, but anything could really happen at the Game Awards. But I think if it does win, that it does act as that example.
And that goes for people's expectations as well. Don't expect every AAA game that comes
to be Baldur's Gate 3.
to be Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate
because
3, technically Baldur's Gate 3 is technically an independent game.
Yeah, and so it's
by a weird quasi definition of the Game Awards. If you take out the 300-person team and the
They don't
Wizards
have
of the Coast
greater
being one of the
publisher.
biggest,
There's no middleman. or
and
whatever.
Wizards of the Coast being one of the biggest development companies, publishing houses on the planet. Yeah, remove all that. It's an indie game.
But I think that the expectation for me, as in like that kind of, this gets into like the crossover between games as art and games as product, is Baldur's Gate 3, and this is a weird also side discussion, Baldur's Gate 3 to me is not worth, if let's just say you're playing it on PC. That game is not worth $60 on PC. That game is worth like double on PC.
It's one of the only times where it's like undervalued.
In I know they did it was like the 10% increase for the PS5 release and whatnot. And, okay, Sony, take your share, whatever.
for the
but
that's not good.
But still, I would still be, from everything that I've played of this game and heard about this game, I'd be comfortable spending $90 on just the initial release of this game. And surely there's going to come out with expansions for or whatnot, and I think that's that's the expectation that the wider community and the industry needs to take forward.
Especially now.
Yeah.
The bang for your buck and value
Especially now
potential.
that they've changed the standard price of games from $60 to $70. Make your game worth $70.
Yeah. No, and I think that it's one of those things, like you said, when it's worth the price that people will pay.
Make it worth it to be 70, or make it worth it to be free.
To be free.
To be more than 70. Or GTA 6 is getting announced, and please, for the love of God, I don't want that game to be $80.
It's gonna be $80.
GTA 6.
Oh,
It's gonna be
Rockstar.
Oh, right.
Oh, that developer. I'm sure they'd be glad to charge $80.
I wonder what they're
I
doing.
wonder how much they're gonna cost for that
But-
game. But
They'll get their money back in shark cards.
Can I pay for GTA 6 with in-game currency from
Yeah,
GTA
yeah,
Online?
can't we? Yeah, that'd be great.
I spent, $120 on shark cards for GTA Online.
We might as well.
Can I
Yeah,
just
we
transfer
might
that
as well.
over?
Yeah. I'm sure their investment in GTA 5 is not paid nearly enough. They got to make GTA 6 $80, but
And that
Yeah.
awful next-gen port situation that they
oh
had
my
where like,
god,
it erases
dude,
your
we don't
progress.
even need that. That was such a nightmare. Oh my god. But I'm just glad to see that, for once the video game community feels real united on something. It's really kind of crazy.
Sure.
But we'll
Depends
we
on
have
which
yet to
part of
see.
the video game
Yeah,
community
yeah,
you're
we'll
in.
see. Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Be
But
educated.
I'm excited at least. I'm excited woefully against my better judgment. But I want to thank any of you who stuck around for our video game yap session. I think we're gonna have a really good time. Again, join us, see who wins both our contest and at the awards ceremony. And we got to see which commercials air. We got to see what
The important part.
the important part really. What commercials are aired.
Imagine
what
if they-
game Hideo Kojima's not going to tell us anything about.
Yeah.
That he's going to be on stage for some
We
reason.
talked about that Xbox game he just announced, said nothing about, and then left.
Oh
and
yeah,
on
that
the
was
live
right. I
stream.
remember.
yeah.
I'm developing a game for Xbox.
And
Yeah,
then
thank
left. And he said
I just-
something about cloud technology and then left.
I just want to know who at the Video Game Awards brings Hideo
A
Kojima there
cloud-type
every year. Yeah, a cloud type engine.
It's the first game-type game.
I just want to know who keeps bringing Kojima
It's
back,
Jack.
and then
It's
why
his
does
best friend.
why does he expect him to say anything
don't
other
know.
than nothing? Regardless, we're very excited to see Hideo Kojima this year. We're very excited to see Jeff Keighley with his nice little smile that he gives right before showing us 8 commercials, and I think it's going to be a great time. So please join us December 7th, 7:30 p.m. right here. We'll be live streaming the whole event, and we'd love to see you there. From all of us at Byte BSU, keep up to date with us, Byte BSU, and we'll see you then.
Yep, that's it.
Miyazaki hates us, hates everybody, and does not want people to be happy.
He was done with everyone happy. Wait, I saw.
He's been done for like 10 years.
I saw a meme that was it was a meme of the image from last year where he's like standing with the award and that kid like walked up behind him and he's just like looking there all shocked, and someone commented like, "Kid's lucky that dude didn't try out the New Balance patch with that weapon he's got in his hand."